Good morning, friends. Today we will discuss on a very important topic, that is chronic suppurative otitis media. Chronic means long standing. So, CSOM is a long standing infection of a part or whole of the middle ear cleft, characterized by ear discharge and a permanent perforation. Why we call it a permanent perforation? Because it is not going to heal by itself. You have to do some procedure to close the perforation. So that is why we call it as a permanent perforation. CSOM is more common in poor countries with low socio-economic standards and poor nutrition. It affects both sex groups and all age groups. There are two types of CSOM. First is tubotympanic, that is safe or benign. Second variety is atticoantral, that is unsafe or dangerous. Now, if we highlight tubotympanic CSOM, it is a mucosal disease. It can be active, that is wet perforation or perforation with discharge. It can be inactive, which is having dry perforation, and in some cases CSOM is healed either by nature or by treatment. Second is squamosal disease. It also can be active or inactive. Today we will talk on tubotympanic CSOM. Tube means eustachian tube. So anything which causes eustachian tube malfunction, it affects mesotympanum also. So this is associated with antero-inferior part of middle ear cleft, that is the area of eustachian tube. What is the etiology? It is a sequel of AOM following fever, any infection ascending via eustachian tube, or allergy to milk, eggs, fish, etc. In tubotympanic CSOM, there is a perforation in pars tensa. It is called as a central perforation. Why central? Because the perforation is surrounded by normal tympanic membrane. It may be small, it may be medium, it may be large, it may be subtotal. Size and position of the perforation varies. In this CSOM, middle ear mucosa is edematous and velvety. Pale polyp may be seen. In this type of CSOM, ossicular chain is usually intact and mobile. Sometimes necrosis of ossicular chain may occur, particularly of the long process of incus, because long process of incus is a very delicate structure. Tibial-tympanic CSOM is also seen as a etiology of tympanosclerosis, and while healing, it also leads to fibrosis and adhesions of tympanic membrane with middle ear structures. Now, which bacteria are responsible? Mainly Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Proteus, E. coli, Staph aureus. These are very commonly seen. Now let us know about clinical features. Ear discharge is non-offensive or odorless. It is either mucoid or mucopurulent. It may be constant or intermittent. It appears at the time of upper respiratory tract infection or water entry. Hearing loss is usually conductive and rarely exceeds 50 decibel. Sometimes hearing is better in the presence of discharge because due to presence of discharge, sound conduction is not hampered. Sound conduction can happen with the help of discharge. Perforation is always central and medullary mucosa is pale or red and edematous. If you see this figure, this perforation is present in two quadrants. So you can label it as a moderate central perforation. Perforation limited to single quadrant is small perforation. The figure you are seeing is moderate, and this large perforation is seen, and it involves antero-inferior, antero-superior and postero-inferior area. So you can label it as a large central perforation, and perforation bigger than this is also called as subtotal perforation. Now I will give you 30 seconds to identify structures seen through posterior perforation. It is a central perforation, but which structures can you see? You can see anterior half of pars tensa, in which you can see tympanosclerotic plaque. Through the perforation, a round white structure is stapes head. You can see stapedius muscle, and stapedius muscle is coming out of pyramid. You can also localize round window membrane, and stapes footplate is also sitting on the oval window. So these are the structures of middle ear. You can sometimes see through the perforation. What is missing in this ossicular chain? It is a long process of incus. Long process of incus is eroded in this disease, so it is not seen. Now what are you seeing is the traumatic perforation. You can clearly see that it is not perforation does not have a round margin. You can see blood clots and trauma to the eardrum. So this is a classical picture of traumatic perforation. Now what are the investigations? First is examination under microscope. You can do suction, you can magnify the parts and visualize. You can remove discharge, you can clean the ear, you can confirm your diagnosis, and treatment may be planned accordingly. Second is Bioton audiometry, and third is culture sensitivity of ear discharge. In tubotympanic disease, if we go for X-ray mastoid, it should not show any bone destruction. If X-ray mastoid is suggestive of bone destruction, then our diagnosis changes. Then it becomes atticoantral variety of chronic suppurative otitis media. How will you treat this patient? First is oral toilet. Ear drops you should use with caution because gentamicin etc. containing ototoxic drugs, so you should not encourage that. Systemic antibiotics, precautions like do not allow water to enter the ear, patient should not scratch his ear, etc. Avoid hard nose blowing, and you should try to treat the underlying etiology of tubotympanic CSOM. If it is due to chronic tonsilloadenoiditis, if it is recurrent, you should remove tonsils and adenoids. If it is allergy, you should treat the allergy. If it is due to recurrent URTI, you should treat URTI also. So, according to the etiology, treatment is a tailor-made treatment. If patient is not cured permanently with conservative treatment, then one should think of surgery in which polyps are removed, granulocytes are removed, and myringoplasty with or without ossicular reconstruction should be undertaken depending upon the condition of ossicular chain. I think you must have enjoyed this lecture. Next time we will talk on CSOM with cholesteatoma or atticoantral variety of CSOM. Thank you so much.